Good afternoon. My name is Heather Epstein-Diaz, and today I'll be presenting an evaluation of the Florida College Access Network. Specifically, we'll be looking at the connection between the Florida College Access Network and its local college access networks. So a bit of overview for what we'll be covering today. First, I'll present some background on the Florida College Access Network. I'll provide a summary of our previous results. Then I'll cover our evaluation questions and methodology. I'll provide the significance of the study and some limitations of the study, the results of the evaluation, and finally the conclusion and recommendations. So a little bit of background. This evaluation seeks to measure the extent to which the Florida College Access Network meets the informational needs of its local college access networks, as defined in the 2020-2025 Strategic Plan. Housed at the University of South Florida, the Florida College Access Network mission is to grow public knowledge in the state of Florida relating to post-secondary access. This is done primarily by the local college access networks, who serve as the local branches of the statewide Florida College Access Network. And so the primary program's goals and objectives are to strengthen the relationship between the statewide Florida College Access Network and its local branches, as well as increasing the percentage of Florida K-12 students served by LCANs from 88% to 100% by 2025. And so the purpose of this evaluation is to understand the extent to which the local college access networks are supported by the parent Florida College Access Network. The results will be used to enhance and improve current and future trainings, resources, and offerings provided by a Florida College Access Network. And the intended audience for this evaluation includes the FCAN Board of Directors, the local college access network directors and staff, and ultimately the students of Florida. And so a quick summary of previous results. The organization recently completed the first year of its strategic plan, and we're about to go into year 2. And so the first goal, as you could see, of the strategic plan was to forge and strengthen partnerships to build capacity through the network. The prominence of this goal, goal number 1, indicates the necessity to ensure capacity building and strengthening of relationships with existing LCANs. The recent presidential address also indicated an initiative to establish new LCANs throughout the state of Florida. Other results of the most recent evaluation pointed to the expanding on the mission and how can the Florida College Access Network grow its mission. So it serves as the independent provider of Florida-specific, student-centered, evidence-based research and data, by advancing an understanding of equity disparities and opportunities to address them, primarily through post-secondary access, and just overall building awareness and support to help catalyze this movement towards post-secondary access for all at the state, federal, and local levels, hopefully to build the organization's capacity and ensure a long-term impact. So the evaluation questions focus on primarily organizational learning. So question 1, how effective is the Florida College Access Network in its support of the local college access networks, or LCANs? Do the initial startup toolkits provide the necessary resources? How effective is the continuing support for established LCANs? What are the key strengths of the current support provided to LCANs? And what are some barriers for the local college access networks in locally implementing the mission of FCAN? And so next I'll touch on the methodology chosen for this evaluation. And so this process evaluation was conducted using a participant-oriented approach. The evaluation focuses on the processes through which the Florida College Access Network supports their local college access networks throughout the state, We were really interested on what processes could be improved to better support the development of the newly established LCANs as well as current LCANs. The process evaluation approach is appropriate for developing this level of understanding, since process evaluations seek to uncover the extent to which programs are operating in a manner that will help achieve their goals. Process evaluation really cares about the how, or the ways in which LCAN supported by FCAN are achieving their goals, and we can also hope that this will help with this continued growth and expansion of the number of LCANs throughout the state. So primarily we focused on we used two major methodologies where it's more qualitative. So the focus groups were really the focus because we really wanted to understand from the mouths of our local Florida College Access Network managers, and staff, what is working and what needs improvement. We also sent out a statewide survey because focus groups, because of the large state of Florida, focus groups are difficult to host in every single FCAN. There are about 80 or so across the state. So we did send out a survey to all of the FCANs just to help us get a wider breadth and also communicate faster results to our stakeholders. So next we'll cover the significance of the study, and really FCAN continues to grow and set ambitious goals. However, the strength of the local college access networks, LCANs, are critical to the overall growth of the Florida College Access Network. And no recent evaluations have sought to understand and take a deep dive into the relationship between the LCANs and the FCANs. And so this is really important because without understanding the strength of their connection, is FCAN really meeting their goals locally? And so within the context of our current global pandemic, post-secondary enrollment is down nationally, except in Florida, but we don't want to rely on that and to rest on that, because the more FCAN improves in their mission, the better that students will be able to ultimately benefit. And so some limitations of our study, we were trying to work on with limited resources. This organization is a nonprofit, so we were very cautious about our spending. And one of the biggest expenses with this study was travel restrictions. And so Florida is very, very large. It's one of the largest states. And so we tried to keep our focus groups representative of FCANs across the state. However, with larger FCANs, smaller FCANs, rural cities, we took that into consideration. However, some voices may still have not been heard. And another limitation was with survey research. You often find that you're capturing an opinion at a single point in time, and so we didn't do any kind of pre or post type of surveys. We sent this out during the course of the beginning of our evaluation, because our stakeholders, our primary funders, the board of directors of FCAN, were very, very interested in getting some early results, and so we did do just a single point in time of that survey research. So next I wanted to cover the results portion of our evaluation. So this is the survey results. On the left-hand side are an example of questions that respondents were asked to provide their insights on. So questions such as: the initial training was accessible and overall user-friendly. Trainers were accessible for follow-up questions. I received sufficient guidance on program delivery. My FCAN feels supported by LCAN. And so on the right-hand side, we presented the averages for each Florida College Access Network's participation number. They were all assigned their own ID. And so you can kind of see the breakdown here, where the majority of respondents reflected the Florida College Access Network's support for the local college access networks positively. And so next I will cover the results of our focus groups. And so with the focus groups, we provided these focus groups at approximately 8 Florida College Access Networks, 2 of them rural, 6 of them in more mid to large urban areas, and we focused on a swath of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We presented the results in quotes. It makes it feel more authentic, more personable, and so the folks obviously had a lot to say. In terms of strengths, the Florida College Access Network was positively received. The connection between the College Access Network and the local College Access Networks were positive. They felt supported by the Florida College Access Network. They found that the website was an incredible resource, and that FCAN, just their reputation throughout the state really helped open doors to principals' offices and leadership in K through 12. And the director also is observed as someone that's personable, someone that they could reach out to and pick up the phone and call. Some of the weaknesses highlighted include that the college culture really does need to start early. The Florida College Access Network does put an emphasis on making connections in high school, but some participants mentioned that as young as middle school, that college culture really does help set students up earlier, because they may start counting themselves out of college as young as middle school. They mentioned that the amount of paperwork, as well as the fact that schools need their own toolkits. The local college access networks feel like they're reinventing their own toolkit to then turn around and provide it to the schools. Some of the opportunities for just the Florida College Access Network in general include partnering with local funders. But for the local funders, it may be difficult to get their foot in the door. Social media presence may need to be more elevated, particularly for students who are currently in high school. Social media is more present, more prevalent than ever. And the fact that we aren't tapping one of our greatest resources are our students. And so students are eager to help other students, and participants mention maybe setting up some type of ambassador program to help engage students as a peer mentor. And then finally one of the some of the threats to the Florida College Access Network, and through extension the local college access networks throughout the state, is that it's becoming hard to convince students to go to college, when they need to provide for their families. So maybe more of an emphasis on college's affordability. They mention an issue with gender, that boys, it's harder, we're losing the boys to post-secondary education, so maybe some messaging around males and access to post-secondary education. And then, of course, funding. We need more funding, particularly because students are attracted to, things like tangible items like T-shirts and hats. So to conclude our presentation today, I wanted to highlight some recommendations that the evaluation team would like to share with our stakeholders. So overall, the support provided to LCANs by FCAN was rated. Strongly agree that they are supported by the parent Florida College Access Network. However, they could use some additional support in identifying and accessing the local funders, primarily because funding from the parent FCAN can sometimes be limiting, as well as engaging school leadership, staff, and parents on the resources provided by FCAN. And LCAN toolkits were also rated as generally sufficient. However, they could definitely use a startup toolkit for new LCAN partner schools so that this could establish a positive impact from the start. And then finally, some focus group participants recommended streamlining the paperwork process. It became a bit of burdensome with daily and even sometimes daily, sometimes weekly reports that need to be provided to the parent FCAN. And so maybe automating the reports will help bring down that burden of the paperwork so that the FCAN and LCANs can go back to doing what they do best, which is encouraging access to post-secondary education and advancing access to post-secondary education throughout the state of Florida. So thank you so much, and that concludes our evaluation presentation today.